Hey guys, Matt with CJ Off-Road here. And one of the biggest questions that I always get on our YouTube comments, especially when we drop a new wheel video, is what size wheels will work on my Jeep Wrangler, or in our case, our Jeep Gladiator. Now that is a long and well-told question that has a lot of different answers. Today I'm just going to go over some of the fundamentals of what type of wheel will work on your Wrangler, and also some things to look at when deciding on a wheel for your Jeep vehicle. This is going to be an informative video and not really an install or anything that's super detailed, but just to help you guys pick out a good wheel for your Jeep vehicle. Now stay with me here. We're going to go through some of the specs and also some things to take into consideration when buying a wheel. And also here at CJ's, you can get a wheel and tire package all put together ready for you, and you know it's going to fit your specific vehicle. Now stay tuned on this one. It's going to be a lot of fun. So the first thing we're going to talk about with picking out a wheel is what bolt pattern your Jeep vehicle has. Now prior to 1987, when the first Wrangler came out, the vehicles known as the CJ typically had a 5 on 5.5 bolt pattern. Now most of our wheels on the website don't have that bolt pattern because we don't sell a ton for the CJ vehicles. However, going from 1987 until all the way up to 2006, the Jeep Wrangler YJ as well as the Jeep Wrangler TJ and LJ all featured the 5 on 4.5 bolt pattern. Now the 5 on 4.5 is the distance between the lugs on here, so if you measure from this to this, it's going to be 5 by 4.5 on a 1987 to 2006 Jeep Wrangler. They also typically had a 15 or a 16-inch wheel, depending on the model and trim. On all the YJs, you could only get a 15-inch wheel, and then towards the end of the TJs and the LJs, a 16-inch wheel could be found. But overall, on that entire generation, you're going to be perfectly fine with a 15-inch wheel. I'll also say that you should keep into consideration the backspacing of these wheels when you're going to go on and aftermarket modify them by adding on a new set of wheels. On the TJs and the YJs, you can pretty much go with a 3.5-inch to a 4-inch backspacing and have no rubbing issues at all. The highest backspacing that was found on a TJ wheel was 5 inches, so anything under that will poke out your tires a little bit further. When you're picking a backspacing for the wheel, it's very important to choose the right one. The higher you go in a backspacing, the more tucked in your wheel is going to be underneath your fender, more closer it's going to be to the frame. The lower the number you go, so if you go from a 5-inch backspacing to a 3-inch, the further out it will be. The backspacing is the measurement from the back of the wheel mounting face to the back edge of the wheel. So you got to understand when you have that, if you have a 5-inch, that back end of the wheel will be further out, and if you have a 3-inch, it'll be closer into the inside of your frame. Built from 2007 to 2018, the Jeep JK Wrangler also features a 5 on 5 bolt pattern. It's a 5 by 5-inch bolt pattern, so 5 lugs, 5 inches in between them. The JL, built from 2018 to present, as well as the Gladiator, built from 2020 to present, also feature the exact same bolt pattern. The only thing different on them is the actual thread pitch of the lug nuts. Now when you're on a JK, your thread pitch is going to be a 1/2 by 20 thread, and then going on to the JL and the Gladiator, it's a metric 14 by 1.5. Now I have to say that that was probably inclusive of the merger to FCA. They're trying to do a little bit more metric when it comes to the bolts and hardware onto these Jeeps. That's the only difference on there, and like I said, if you do buy a kit here from CJ's, we'll add on the right lug nuts and you won't have to worry about getting the right ones for you. Now basically the 5 on 5 bolt pattern is a little bit bigger due to the fact that these Jeeps are now a lot bigger than they used to be. They feature a more durable design, and the larger width of there helps really strengthen that wheel and strengthen that axle shaft on the inside. The JK as well as the JL and Gladiator all use a 17-inch wheel, and you can go up larger depending on the trim model. I would not recommend anything smaller than a 17-inch wheel on any of the 3 JK, JL, or JT, as you don't want to run into interference with your caliper. I did get away with a long time ago running a 16-inch wheel on my JK, but you have to be extremely specific on which one you can get, and honestly it was really risky, and if you had to add another stack of weights, it would not have worked at all. So highly recommend getting a 17-inch or larger on any of those 3 trim models. Same thing applies with the backspacing on this. The factory JK, JL, and Gladiator wheels have pretty high backspacing, almost 6 inches on some of them. So mine right now feature a 5-inch backspacing on these Black Rhino wheels, and you can see that they are just about tucked right underneath the flare. The further you go out, like I said before, the lower the num goes, the further you're going to stick out. And the only thing to be careful of is rubbage on the inside of the fender well. You can hit the control arm, you can actually hit the frame rails. That's why we do recommend, if you're going to keep a stock wheel and add on a larger tire, to definitely increase the spacer on there or add a spacer to it. That way that width of the tire doesn't hit the frame and doesn't hit the front end or any of the control arms. It's very important to get some quick measurements and figure out where your wheel will want to sit once it's installed. That way you get that on there perfectly and it's going to work great. Now, if you don't want to worry about any of that, you just simply go on cjponyparts.com. You can actually go into our resource center and read all about our wheel and tire fitment guides, as well as choose the right wheel and tire for your vehicle. We'll mount them and balance them, throw in TPMS sensors, even add a set of lug nuts if you like, and ship them right to your door ready to be bolted on, and you don't have to worry about any of this backspacing or any of the other hoopla we're talking about today. Now, if you're interested in that, definitely check out our website, and until next time, we're going to be releasing some of these resource center videos and how to get your Jeep perfectly dialed in. Until next time, guys, I'll see you out on the trail.